Om is where the love is. This symbol here represents Om. Om, according to Hinduism, is the sound of creation. It's the first sound of the universe. Om also represents Brahman. Brahman is the divine essence at the heart of all things within Hinduism. Essentially, what this is reading is not Om is where the love is. It is Hinduism is where the love is. Something to help understand why people would have a bumper sticker that says Hinduism is where the love is because Hinduism is not an exclusive religion. Hinduism is an inclusive religion. They really don't care what you believe, because in Hinduism we all have a soul that migrates from one body to the next, from death to life to death to life, again and again and again. And so we have many, many times in order to find our way to their ultimate goal, which is escaping that reincarnation that we're all stuck in, essentially, from their viewpoint. Now, why is this so loving? In addition to that, they have ultimately said from time to time, well-known Hindu priests, that all religions are true, that they all teach the same things, where in reality they don't. And from what I see, this religious pluralism, which is so popular right now in America and in the West, is deriving from contact with Eastern philosophy, and in particular Hinduism, from globalism, which is now occurring. The first time this really ended up becoming a staple within America was with the transcendental writers, Emerson, Thoreau, and Whitman. They were all influenced by Hinduism and used Hindu terms within their writings. The next time where a Hindu priest actually came to America and had big influence and actually proclaimed in his message at the first World Parliament of Religions in Chicago, he said, what Hinduism offers to the world is universal love and acceptance. And in that message, he actually said all religions are true. Fast forward a little bit to the 60s counterculture. I don't know how well known this is, but Woodstock at the start actually had a Hindu priest give a message and then led the entire Woodstock crowd in a Hindu chant. And the organizers of Woodstock proclaimed what he did as a type of benediction for the concert. Pretty radical stuff. And so from that movement, with the counterculture movement, is really where the New Age movement also began. And so when Hinduism came into America via these different channels, what ended up happening was we didn't adopt the entire religion. Instead, we just picked and pulled apart the sections that we really liked, such as everything's sacred, everyone's special, bringing that in from the Hindu view that everything is divine. Then also the fact of reincarnation, that's a pretty important aspect within the New Age movement, as well as all-inclusiveness, that everything's divine and everything's ultimately one. All of those are elements part of the New Age movement. But to address more, is this really where the love is? Of course, it says all religions are true, but is just saying that really make a person loving? From my point of view, that's not loving at all. If you are taking religions such as Christianity and saying, you know what you believe about Jesus, what you believe about Jesus being the Savior of the world and dying for the sins of mankind, all of that ultimately is wrong, because we're all one in Brahman and we all have reincarnation, where the Apostle Paul directly said, no, each man has one life, and from there we'll enter into judgment before God. It's completely contradictory, and they do that to not just Christianity but all religions. They hack apart everything that makes each religion unique unto itself, and essentially are blurring it apart and saying we don't even care what you believe, because what is most important to us is this unity. And so anything which is different and distinct in the world, we'll erase it to conform it to what we think it needs to be in order to have this unity. To me, that's not love, and to me, that's not tolerance. That's actually intolerance to do such a thing. And if it's not intolerance, these people that are making such a claim that all religions lead to God or that they're all the same, really they haven't viewed the religions or taken the time to care enough to study them to see what they actually teach. If they did, they would see that they contradict each other on such fundamental levels that we can't make such claims. Moving along with this, Hinduism is where the love is. I mean, some of it is also the fact that we don't, or at least in Hinduism, they teach that we shouldn't kill anything, including animals, because animals are also divine. Okay, it seems like a loving thing, but really when you move into it, well, is that then putting animals on the same level as humanity? And what does that say then about humanity if we're on the same level as the animals in terms of our value and worth? Another problem too with Hinduism is where the love is. They have a caste system, and they'll actually say people are not created equal. They'll look at your hands and say, hey, look, are all the fingers equal? No, they're different lengths. There's no way that you can make one finger the same length as another one. It's impossible. That's what they do within the human race. They actually divide humanity into different segments and say one is greater than the other. And they have one level of humanity which are called the outcast or the Dalits or the untouchables. They are not even in a caste level. They are below the caste. And they are even treated worse than animals in some situations. How loving is that? Also, how loving is it when there's a divine nature in all things, but some people then are subjected to worse lives based on what they've done before. But in this current life, we have no idea what we did in the life before to get us to the position that we are in now. And also, we have no understanding of how well we're progressing currently to get into a better position in the next life. Finally, you want to know where love is? Here's a quote from the Bible. There is no greater love than this, than for a man to lay down his life for his friends. And this is what you are, friends. From this, that is God speaking in the person of Jesus Christ. We know that Jesus did lay his life down for the world to atone for the sins of all mankind. And in this, God has called us friends. That is true love. And that is found not in Hinduism, but within Christianity.